Say, right, so first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. We say, Double Apostle and Elder Agreements and Rule, our teachers, our person in truth. And we say, salutations, solely acting to the push within our truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season of the season. We say, Shalom. And once again, going into our video here, and this is basically touching upon some news. Now, yesterday I did a video going into the farming and the word, which I touched on some of the things the American government did when it comes to like censorship, when it comes to like certain things you could speak about. Because right now, if you speak about the small hats, you talk about Charlie Kirk and these other men, you could the law that they passed was that they could take your passport, right, and many other things that they could do. They could throw you into prison, they could charge you, right, and many other things. Now, this is something that happened last night. So let me just read what it is, right? They said David Froman, sorry, let me go up a little bit. It said Jimmy Kimmel live pull off air. Why he joked Kirk's killer might have been pro-Trump. Within 48 hours, Trump's FCC threatened Disney ABC's license, and they caved. That's not consequential to that state censorship in real time, right? It say not a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel, but if you think his show should be cancelled for this, you're a hack and a total fraud who should never pretend to care about free speech. And we have continued to say, no such thing as free speech, right? And you guys are going to see that in full effect, saying certain things, especially against his government. As you can see, one guy, he got his show pulled, right? And this is a guy, a big celebrity in the celebrity world, right? And you see how quick his show got cancelled. I was reading certain things that his show won't be put back on air no more, right? So this person, man, this is absolute bullshit. Disney is pulling Jimmy Kimmel's show indefinitely because he made some comments about Charlie Kirk bending the knee of fascism again, right? So you're seeing what is it doing, and it goes to show that, hey, when it comes to, for us, when we preach this work, we know we say things against this government. We say things against the smaller. We say things against basically everybody that wicked, right? Obviously, they will come for us. Now, I love to read the scripture here. This is the book of Luke chapter 21. Let me read from verse 15. It says, for I will give you a mouth. Sorry, not 15. Sorry. Let me read from verse 12. It says, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, and delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And this will be saying, for whose sake? For the Lord's sake, right? For his name's sake, right? And we're seeing what it is they're doing here, just for these men that saying certain things. So imagine furthermore what they were doing to us, right? That way it say, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, right? Because we understand that we will suffer persecution in this thing, right? Because we're not agreeing with these people. We against them, right? It's the same way they're against us, we're against them. And these seeing how they're passing the laws, right? Seeing how they're passing the laws and how they're moving, right? Seeing how they're moving, you could see what they will be aiming to do. Obviously, hey, in time to come, they may come first. That's why we continue to say that this know the thing that you're in. This is not a joke, right? So this is the statement. It's a WGA statement on ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel live. They say the right to speak our minds and to disagree with each other, to disturb even is at the very heart of what it means to be a free people. It is not to be denied, not by violence, not by the abuse of governmental power, nor by the acts of corporate cowardice. Now it goes to show that when we mention like things like an authoritarian, right, or it is totalism, right, and these things we've seen it right before our eyes. They ain't playing. Hey, this devil on the move, and if you speak out against him, hey, he have things set up for that. So that is scripture say. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into the prisons. It said, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. For whose sake? For the Lord's sake, for his name's sake, right? Right, they say, and it shall turn to you for a testimony. It says, settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Right? But going back to verse 12, it say you'll be what? Into prison, and into prisons and so forth. Right? And we saw what the apostles they went through. Right? This is the book of Acts. I'm going to go to it, book of Acts chapter 5, and I'm going to read from verse. I'm going to read from verse. I'm going to read from a particular. Let me read from verse 15. It says, insomuch, Acts chapter 5, verse 15, it says, insomuch that they brought forth the sick into the streets and laid them on beds and couches, that at the least the shadow of Peter passing by might overshadow some of them. It said that there came also a multitude out of the cities round about unto Jerusalem, bringing sick folks and them which were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed every one. Then the high priest rose up, and all they that were with him, which is the sect of the Sadducees, and were filled with indignation, and laid their hands on the apostles and put them in the common prison. It said, but the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth and said, go stand and speak in the temple to the people all the words of this life. And it goes to show that, hey, when we get thrown in the prison and certain things happen to us, that is why we have to keep the faith. And little things like this we see in it, they pull a whole man talk show of air, right? And he not even sure that he will be back on. So furthermore, what they will do unto us, we literally speaking out against them, and we're talking about the things that they are going to do and bring, right? It say, so before I finish up the scriptures, let me just read out this thing here. It say, as a guild, we stand united in opposition to anyone who uses their power and influence to silence the voice of writers or anyone who speaks in dissent. If free speech applied only to ideas we like, we need not have bothered to write it onto the Constitution. What we have signed onto, painful as it may be at times, is the free in agreement to disagree. Now, there was something called Project 2025. And when you look up Project 2025, you would see all these things that Trump and his administration is doing. It was literally written there, right? Literally written there. It's a shame on those in government who forget this founded truth. As for our employers, our words have made you rich, silencing us impoverishes the whole world. Hey, at the end of the day, hey, the devil knew he had what? But a short time. So we seeing what an authoritarian is. When let me just look up this thing here quick, right? I think it's. You see, when you look up totalism, right? Totalism is a rare synonym for totalitarianism, referring to a political system of complete government control over all aspects of public and private life, with no room for individual freedoms or opposition, right? It can also refer to any philosophy or ideology that is absolute and covers everything in its scope in a different context. Totalism also describes a style of classical music that emerged from, right? So that's basically that, right? So it's primarily totalism is an alternative term for, right, and a political ideology where a single party or leader holds absolute unrestricted power. And now underneath that, it's a authoritarian socialism. It's a term has been used particularly in the context of the alternate history, right? It describe a grouping of authoritarian socialist ideologies with roots in surrealism. And so basically, I'll come back to do a video on this, right? Totalism, but that is what you're seeing before your eyes. And they have total power to do this. Where now you're seeing the so-called freedom that these people thought that they have, it going. Right? I would say they have control over all aspects of public and private life. They have total control. Right? You see men losing their jobs, men losing their lives, right? Right. So again, that is why when I was reading, because just yesterday I was doing a topic about farming of the word. And one was running through my mind. I said I would do a part 2 today and talk about the persecution that comes with preaching this thing. And just later in the evening, we saw this news came out about how Jimmy Kimmel get his whole show pulled. Right? So furthermore, what they would do unto us, right? So furthermore, what they would do unto us for speaking the things that we speak. So it say so Acts 5 verse 19, it say, but the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth and said, go stand and speak in the temple to the people all the words of this life. So it goes to show that they will be thrown in prison for the things that they're doing. And we know we're doing a good work because we're doing the work of the Lord. Right? So I think it's Elon Musk. He said what? Elon Musk said that it's good against evil. Yeah, we being the good and you all being the evil. Right? So it's so verse 21 it say, and when they heard that they entered into the temple early in the morning and taught. But the high priest came, and they that were with him, and called the council together, and all the senate of the children of Israel, and sent to the prison to have them brought. But when the officers came and found them not in prison, they returned and told, saying, the prison truly found we shut with all safety, and the keepers standing without before the doors. But when we had opened, we found no man within, because the angel obviously took them out. So it goes to show that, hey, we continue to trust in the Lord. That I say, take no thought. What does he go say? Right? But they continue straight down to the end, fearing, hope, having a faith in the Lord. Right? And many other things that we're supposed to have for the Lord that we continue to keep. Right? It said, now when the high priest and the captain of the temple and the chief priest heard these things, they doubted of them whereunto this would grow. Then came one and told them, saying, behold, the men whom ye put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people lest they should have been stoned. And when they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, did not we straitly command you that ye should not teach in this name? And behold, ye have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine, and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. It said, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. And that is how we are to be. We ought to obey God. We have a job to do, and we continue to obey the Lord straight on to the end. So again, the scripture said, you will be persecuted, you will be killed, you will be thrown in prison. These are things that you would face for his name's sake. Right? But as Peter said here, we ought to obey God rather than men. So when you see things like this, hey, we gotta continue pushing, because we know we soon out of here. Right? We know we soon out of here. Right? We soon out of here. But as you can see, what went on with the apostles, they were thrown into prison, for the things they were doing, and the way if it gonna happen unto us even unto this day. You see Esau on the move. Esau on the move. Esau ain't playing. You say something right now, you say something that a little off, hey, you might end up worse than Jimmy Kimmel. Alright, so this person said, so Charlie Kirk can say, don't trust black pilots. Charlie Kirk and this disparaged single working woman. Charlie Kirk can say lives are expendable for the Second Amendment, but once Jimmy Kimmel makes a joke about Charlie Kirk, he gets fired. And again, we see that the totalism of what's going on, right? The totalism of our government party, right? So this past week and a half, right? You go and look up the laws that was been that they put in order. You see certain things against those small arts, jail, charge, passport being taken, all these things, right? Yeah, something else they was talking about, according to whatever group you're in, you can be charged as a terrorist. These are the things. Hey, Esau on the move, right? Esau on the move, right? Hey, and the way things looking, eventually that family they would mind it sooner than we think, but sooner than they think. It's TikTok. TikTok was I can't they didn't sell over, but they have a change in leadership for America, right? And just go and look up who it is get control of that part in America. It's some small hats, and they already, I think they hire like 3,000 people for censorship. So you don't know what it is they're going and do. You don't know what it is they're going and do, right? So again, pay attention to what's going on. So with that, once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kodash. We say that man's apostle and elders, a great Muslim, who teachers, apostle in truth, and we say salutations to the Akim, to the push who know truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season. Or the season, we say Shalom.